In what some people are considering the best news of the year, apparently Travis Scott is going to be cutting back on Jordan 1 lows next year. This licentious sneaker rumor tends to regenerate itself every 3 to 6 business days, and we're back on another cycle again. Plus, we've got this year's most overrated sneakers, as well as a preview of the hottest upcoming sneakers coming out this January in this week's Sneaker Wrap. Hello everybody, it is me, Jordan Young, and every Saturday I do these weekly sneaker news recap videos where we comb over the hottest sneaker news stories from the past week. We look ahead to some exciting sneaker releases, and we generally just have a gay old time with one another. If you guys want to keep up with me in real time, be sure to go over and drop me a follow on IG. Rightio, so as always, we're going to kick things off by recapping this week's biggest sneaker releases. And there were really just a couple. First and foremost, we had the Nike SB Dunk Low Wizard of Oz collaboration. This seems to have been a fairly easy cop, I want to say, for most people that wanted to get their hands on these. I passed on them, wasn't really a big fan of the color blocking. I am a slightly bigger fan of this shoe once it's been destroyed, however, or you could argue not so much been destroyed as the upper's been cut away. If you look at these images here, these look kind of tough when you have the upper fabric removed. Also had the Kids of Immigrants Nike Sunders. This was a sneaker that I thought was going to be a lot harder to cop, because a lot of people have been talking about this sneaker in sneaker of the year type terms, and I actually slept on the release that went down yesterday, I think, or the day before, and to my surprise, these were still sitting on the Nike sneakers app a couple of hours after the drop. So yeah, these weren't a difficult cop, at least from my perspective. And that was really about it. Did you guys pick anything up? Feel free to let me know. Rightio, let's get into the news, and we'll kick things off with a couple of these tasty rumors that will probably be debunked by the time I actually finish editing this video. But I want to start off with this story here. The rumor is Travis Scott will not release any more Jordan 1 lows after the Fragment collab that is set to release next year. Now, we've heard this rumor before, and we've obviously seen a lot of Travis 1 lows get announced and then cancelled this year, and so this could just be an absolute clickbait story. The background behind the rumor is that he wants to forego any more Travis 1 lows so that he can focus on his own models. And this cracked me up because the rumors seem to suggest that Travis Scott doesn't have that much time to be able to simply approve Jordan 1 low colorways. He wants to use that time to work on his new designs. It's like, bro. Now again, I don't know if this rumor is true at all, and to be honest, I don't really think any of us really care. Let's stay with the Travis 1 low fragments for next year for this story, because it's quite funny. It's a little bit ironic as well. Some sneaker blogs have been posting some fake Travis 1 low fragments to get people all hyped up and to generate some clicks. And one of the glaring factory defects, or one of the glaring problems that these particular sneakers feature, is they've managed to somehow misspell Travis. The irony is that these sneaker blogs that have been sharing these fake Travis 1 low fragments have been called out by other sneaker blogs. You guys might have seen this video doing the rounds earlier on this week where Cenat was unboxing some Christmas gifts on a live stream, and then he unboxed some gifts from A$AP Rocky, who sent him some pumas. And I don't really want to cover this story so much for the fact that Cenat is unboxing or been sent some pumas. I just want to cover the story in light of the fact that this is actual sneaker news in 2024. Very popular streamer gets sent some shoes that he can't mess with, and he proceeds to spend a lot of the stream pledging his allegiance to Nike. Bro, what could be more 2024 than this absolute non-story that I'm making a story? Right, let's talk about the Air Jordan 3 Black Hats. We are going to be previewing these at the end of the episode when we look ahead to some of the most exciting sneaker releases for January, but this particular feature of the Black Cat 3s only serves to illustrate how you're just never going to be able to please sneakerheads in general. They're always going to find something to complain about. One of the interesting aspects of the Black Cat 3s that came out in 07 is the fact that they come out with the phrase Black Cat hidden behind the back tab. And on the 2024 release, this feature has been omitted. It's not going to be coming with the Black Cat on the back, and sneakerheads are mad. Imagine getting pressed about a detail of a sneaker that you can't actually see. Now, these assets come out January the 11th, and according to the rumors that I'm seeing online, stock is going to be very high for this release, meaning they're going to be bricks, I reckon, at least in most places. I feel like this is going to be a sneaker that you should be able to cop without any problem. We saw Carmelo Anthony this past week rock up to an NBA game wearing a pretty exciting release that a lot of people are looking forward to early next year. It's the Air Jordan 1 High Bred 85 release, and we also have some really nice detailed images to tuck into here as well. Now, there's been some criticisms levied against the shoe, and there's also been a lot of things that people are really optimistic about. One of the criticisms is that these are expensive. $250 is the retail. No look as to whether or not we're going to be getting like the dust bags, or whether they're going to be numbered, or if this is just a heightened retail price point for the mere sake of it. The other criticism that people have had against this shoe is the stiff leather. If you guys are familiar with the other high 85 releases, like the neutral grays or the reverse breds or whatever, you'll know that the leather that comes with these is incredibly stiff. You could barely crease it if you ran over them in a car. So they take a lot of breaking in as a result, and they're very uncomfortable. The positives though, I mean, just look at them. They look beautiful. These look very, very much on point if you compare them to the original high 85. And let's not forget the significance of this sneaker. This is an all-star weekend sneaker. $250 though, I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Right, before we get into this year's most overrated sneakers, let's take a look at an interesting concept lab concoction from the team over at House of Heat. Shout out to Pete Michael for coming up with these renders. This Bathing Ape collaboration concept looks really cool in my opinion. Now, I know for a lot of us, Bathing Ape have kind of fallen off. They're not as popular, nor are they as desirable as they used to be. But this camo, sort of tan type pair, I think looks really dope. The low top pair, I'm not really as keen on, but I definitely think an AE1 Bathing Ape collaboration would go pretty hard. What do you guys think? Radio, let's get into the most overrated sneakers of 2024. I reached out to you guys on my IG and asked you to give me your own personal takes, and there were definitely some overwhelmingly popular responses. First and foremost, so many of you guys said anything to do with Travis Scott was overrated this year, and I can definitely to a certain extent agree with you. I personally think the Jumpman Jaxx are massively overrated. This was just a model that Nike had come up with themselves, and they didn't chuck the swoosh on backwards. I feel like these would have been absolute outlet beaters. Next up, the Travis Scott medium olives. Now, I picked these up for retail. Very delighted to have them in the collection. The reason why I think these are overrated isn't because of the colorway. I like the colorway. I think the colorway's dope. These are overrated because of the materials. Bro, I've only worn these 2 or 3 times. I have worn them like pretty hard, but they have already gone to crap materially. Like the creasing in the toe box looks like I've been doing some kind of Irish dancing in them. The materials on the Travis 1 medium olives are completely crap. Next up, Asics. I know a lot of people are going to want to say that the whole Asics mesh runner trend is overrated because of how popular and mainstream and ubiquitous they are, and I can totally get that and understand. But one collaboration that I wanted to point to as being a bit overrated has got to be these. These are the Hidden New York Gel NYCs. Now, the reason I think they are overrated is because a lot of people really gas this sneaker up, and when you look at them, prima facie, they are just straight up boring. These are pretty much just a plain Jane Asics. Now, it wouldn't be an overrated list if there weren't a few spicy takes. And here's a bit of a hot one for you guys. J-Tips Saucony. These, I feel, are getting a little bit out of hand with just how highly people are rating them. You know, when people are starting to talk about J-Tips Sauconys as like sneaker of the year, when this is the only Saucony they have in their collection, that's the level of fanaticism that people seem to have attached to anything that J-Tips touches right now. Now, I don't want to bag nor rag on J-Tips. I feel like he's been a real breath of fresh air in the sneaker culture for sure, but it's almost like people are just saying that's the sneaker of the year just because J-Tips is on it right now. It's also putting a lot of pressure on J-Tips for 2025 because he's had a really good 2023, 2024. Anything he makes in 2025 that is anything short of being like sneaker of the year contender, people are going to start to turn on and deride him for it. So yeah, hot take or not, you guys can let me know what you think there. Another hot take, the J Balvin 3 Reels. And I want you guys to notice that all these sneakers that I'm calling overrated, I simultaneously have in my possession. So I'm not completely unself-aware to the points where I'm going to delude myself into thinking that I'm not just copying a lot of these for the hype or the collab aspect. But the reason I think the Balvins are a little bit overrated is they're just super boring. Now, I know to a certain extent he was pretty much just doing an away colorway of his J Balvin's from last year, but honestly, when I compare the two shoes, this pair here from last year has a way better quality. I feel like they were a bit better made. They feel like the leather feels a little bit nicer. This pair here just looks like it was a bit of a throw together type shoe. Jound sneakers, a lot of you guys said anything to do with Jound has got to be overrated, and yep, again, I have them. Yep, bro has every overrated sneaker out there. Yep, for sure, I get that. I can understand it because Jound's thing is minimalism. Sometimes it feels like these didn't even get out of the design process. That's how little effort was put into them. And a little bit like the Hidden New Yorks, some of the devil is in the details with the Jound stuff, but because this stuff tends to sell out really quick, and because a lot of it goes on to perform reasonably well in the aftermarket, that serves as justification for why they're overrated for a lot of people. So most Jound collabs, overrated. I get it. This was a little bit of a hot take, the Nigel Sylvesters. This isn't my own I don't actually necessarily agree with this personally, but this is a sneaker that quite a few of you guys actually said was overrated. And I think because this sneaker is being considered one of the top sneaker collabs of the year, or even one of the top sneakers of the year, it puts itself out there as an easy candidate to rip down as being overrated, simply because certain people out there don't like it. So I can totally get that. I personally like this shoe. I think the colorway is really dope. I think it's awesome to see a new, slightly new model, and the storytelling's pretty wicked as well. Is it the sneaker of the year? No. Is it overrated? No, but I can understand why people might see it like that. I had a few of you guys pointing at the Verdis and the Futuras as two sneakers that you found overrated this year. Look, I'm actually going to disagree. I think that the Futuras are justifiably hyped up. Because of the history with Futura, because of the exciting, vibrant colorway, these, in my opinion, are hype-worthy. These are justified as being highly rated. This is the best SB of the entire year, in my opinion. And the thing is these aren't overpriced in the resale market, in my opinion. These are out there for around £300 or like 350 bucks, like buy now type prices on StockX. So if you consider last year's SB releases where there were so many big hyped up collabs that were going for way more than what these are going for in the resale market currently, I feel like these aren't too overrated. With these, it's the same type of thing. These are bright, these are vibrant, these are exciting, these are going to be quite cringe, I'm sure, for a lot of you guys as well. But I don't actually tend to agree. I don't think these are overrated. I think these are spectacular. Next up, we have the Action Bronson 1906 R series. This is a take that is a bit of a spicy one because I know a lot of people out there are talking about the Rosewater colorway as being one of the collabs of the year. I actually agree with this one low key. I think these are overrated. The Nina Chanel Abney 3s. This sneaker was like the catfish of the year. You guys remember when we saw the early product images? These were looking super nice. The Kith filter had these looking beautiful and seductive, and people were already calling this the sneaker of the year when we got these images. And then, bro, we got like the natural lights images or the morning after images, and they just look completely different, completely crap. So I know a lot of people have got these up there, and it's almost for that reason simultaneously that these should be considered overrated in my opinion. The CPFM Air Force One lows. This is probably one of the sneakers that resold for the most this year. Like, these are quite horrible colorways. One of these looks like baby poo or maybe dog spew, and the other one maybe, I don't know, pee-pee tip? Now, I know CPFM are hype, and that's obviously what's informed a lot of these resale prices, but yeah, I definitely think these are overrated. The Kids of Immigrants Sunders, and no, I'm not just going after every single collab just for the sake of it. A lot of people actually submitted this one to me saying that they think this shoe is overrated, and I don't actually think it's on account of the collaboration nor the colorways. I just think people don't really vibe with the Sunders. They look like some kind of roof box for your car, or maybe some kind of made to scale camping tent. It's just not a model that most people, I feel, tend to vibe with that much in 2024. I personally like both the sneakers. I have one of the pairs coming, and so I don't want to completely contradict myself by lambasting these now and then praising them in a couple of days when I do the review. So I'm just gonna cover myself here. I probably missed a whole bunch, but those are some of the most overrated sneakers of 2024. Do you guys have some other submissions you want to tap out down below? If so, please feel free to do so. I'd love to see what you have to say. Right, let's get back to the sneaker news. We've got some first looks here at the Bad Bunny Adidas Gazelle Indoor sulfur. And this pair here looks dope, man. I like this colorway here. These almost have a little bit of Kill Bill or Bumblebee vibes about them. The Bad Bunny touches are pretty wicked. I'm liking the look of these. We don't have any exact release date information to go off, but I'm feeling these. What about you? We've had some really good detailed looks at the Jordan 4 Rare Air. No specific release date info on these at the moment. $225 is the retail price point, and I don't know what you guys think about these. I think it's a nice shoe. The only problem is that they're very similar looking to the Breds, obviously. But if you're a long-standing Jordan 4 collector, you'll know about the Rare Air series and the removable tongue patch. It famously featured, I think first maybe on the Undefeated 4s back in like 2005. Then we saw it on the Tour Yellows 2006 and stuff like that. So this is going to be, for a lot of people, one of those really collectible type Jordans. And the whole Rare Air theme is going to be playing out next year across a number of different models. So I'm liking the look of them. Quality looks good. Colorway looks good. Had some really good looks at the Travis Scott Zoom Field Jaxx. We're going to preview these when we talk about January's sneaker releases in a short while here. I don't know how I feel about the Zoom Field Jaxx model. I kind of prefer the model to the Jumpman Jack model. Something about the more low cut slung silhouette suits my eye a little bit better. They kind of look a little bit like a tennis shoe or a golf shoe, which are two styles of shoe that I'm into. If they had maybe like a flatter sole, they would probably be a little bit more purposeful for casual wear, with this sort of rugged outsole that seems to have been made to play baseball or the likes in. That's not necessarily going to be a great feature for casual. I don't know. This colorway is looking dope though, and the price point is a little bit more accessible at $170. Now these are already out there on the early market for not too crazy a money, so I don't think these are going to be a crazy reseller like that. These could be basically the equivalent of like his Air Max collaborations when they came out resale wise. But our first look at the Jordan 4 white cement for next year. These are supposed to be coming out around May, around the 24th. Again, $225. This is a pretty exciting retro for a lot of people, particularly if you don't have the 2016 pair. The images that we have to go off aren't particularly spectacular. The bro forgot to hit the focus button here. There are only a couple of images to go off as well, but to be honest, this is one of those shoes that you don't really need hyper clear images in order to know what you're getting. This is arguably the best Jordan 4 colorway of all time. It's been just about 10 years since the last retro, so at this point these things are inevitable. Got my pair here, which is still in really good condition. You can see the netting is starting to oxidize. I mean, at this point these are looking like the 2027 Air Jordan 4 white cement reimagines. Given how good the condition is on this pair, I'm wondering if I really need the 2025 pair. Who am I kidding? Of course I do. Right, so this headline cracked me up because it says top shelf tooling comes to the Air Force One low. It's almost oxymoronic in a sense. So what the story is talking about here is spring next year, the Nike Air Force One low is going to be coming with some upgraded tooling. Now the pricing info seems to suggest these are going to be $120, which I think is just the stock standard price. I don't actually think this is going to be the new standard for Air Force One lows in 2025. I think this is just going to be a sort of limited run of Air Force One lows in the Summit White colorway that we can look forward to. I think the regular bargain basement, bottom of the barrel Air Force One lows are still going to be out there and ubiquitous, but these may well come out to feature alongside them for someone that wants a little bit more for their money. Maybe. Right, let's get into some of the biggest sneaker releases coming out this January. As always, there's going to be a whole bunch that I will likely fail to mention because they haven't been announced yet. There's obviously going to be some discrepancy between what releases here in the UK and what releases where you guys are around the world. So I'm just going to go off some of the generic mainstream stuff that we've seen release dates for. First and foremost, January the 10th, you've got the Nike Air Max Muse. This is for you ladies out there. This is in the black and the silver metallic colorway. I only mention it because it is a brand new sneaker from Nike. The same day, you have a collaboration between Adidas and Liberty London. If you guys don't know about Liberty London, it's kind of like a fancy flash department store downtown in London, which is quite famous for this floral motif. All of these are trash. January the 11th, one of the sneakers of the month is definitely these, the Jordan 3 Black Cats. First time we've seen the sneaker, as said, since 2007. This was actually the first pair of Jordans I bought when I arrived in London in 2007, so there's a little bit of nostalgia around this release for me. Numbers are supposed to be very, very high on this release, so they should be easy to cop. January the 17th, the Travis Scott Nike Zoom Field Jaxx in the light chocolates. Going to be a bit of hype around these, even though the sneaker doesn't feature the overtly reverse swoosh. There is a reverse swoosh on there somewhere, but maybe that feature could account for the slight lack of hype this particular model is receiving. I don't know. January the 18th, the Kobe 5 Year of the Mamba in the red colorway. On the same day, nice pair of Jordan 1 highs, the Cinnabar Rare Air. Next year is going to be big for the Rare Air sneakers. This Jordan 1 colorway is pretty nice in my opinion, but it's Jordan 1 high. It's going to be a Jordan brick. The MX Plus coming back in a big way this year. You have the Hyper Blue dropping on January the 20th. January the 21st, the Riot Skate Shop Nike SB Quick Strike release. First big banger SB collab for the year. Really nice colorway, really clean. January the 22nd, Air Jordan 5 Earth. January the 23rd, the Year of the Snake pack. Some people have been saying that they missed every single shoe. I actually think the Jordan 11 lows are kind of nice. On the 25th, you've got the Harden Volume 9 Cyber Metallics. And then January the 31st, the Air Tech Challenge 2 in the Racer Pink. So one or two sneaky bangers. I think February there are definitely some heavy hitters, and there will probably be some big bangers that will wheel out in the coming days. Those are January's biggest releases. What are you guys thinking about copping? Let me know. And there we go. That is the final sneaker wrap for the year. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Thank you guys so much for your continued support on this particular video series. It's always a pleasure to bring you guys these videos and look back at the biggest sneaker news stories and just have a gay old time. I mean, I love having a gay old time with you guys. Don't forget to like the video before you bounce. I've still got a few more videos to share with you guys before the year winds down, and so I will look forward to seeing you guys on those videos. Take care for now, guys. Peace.
Yeah. Hey, new beginnings on the cusp. Not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup. Something dirty in my cup. Clean soul, good karma is a must. Still my shooter in the cut. I was stuck inside a rut. Played the game, made bank, moved G. Anything to get a buck.